Hello.
Hello, you all right?
Hey, Biff, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Well, this will be for MetalTitans, so thank you for your time.
No problem.
So, I think I was going to start, obviously, we're going to talk new album, but, back when you guys did that headline tour with Fozzy, it'd been a number of years at that point since SAXON had performed in North America. How was it coming back after so many years?
It's pretty good fun, actually. That was a good fun tour. It was, it was great. I mean, we went out with them, and Fozzy went out with us, and after that we went out with, I think we went out with Judas Priest and Motorhead and UFO. So yeah, it was the start of us basically coming back to America and doing full tours rather than just doing, New York, Chicago, LA. Which is what we'd usually been doing before, and a few other things like Rocklahoma and things, but we weren't really, spending massive amounts of time in America. And I think that was the start of us coming back, really.
Right. Because I think, even at that point, having been a fan of the band, I hadn't actually caught you guys live until about that time. And then since then, I've seen you guys like three times after that. So, you guys have definitely been, in demand in North America, which has got to be gratifying.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, our following in America now is as good as it was in the 80s, really, not far off anyway. So, yeah, a lot of people are aware of the band. I mean, obviously the COVID thing stopped it a little bit, but yeah, people are aware of the band. People are checking us out. They're listening to all our catalogue, and they're buying the new albums, and they're asking us questions about when we're touring and things. So I think we're definitely on the map again in America.
Right. And then you mentioned the supporting Judas Priest on Firepower in 2018. I got a chance to see that. That was just absolutely fantastic. So you think that also helped reopen some doors for SAXON?
Yeah, I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people that were at that show. It was a great package, actually, especially Priest and SAXON together, because we both had. We had our big first album with Wheels of Steel, and they had British Steel, which was one of their biggest albums, with Breaking the Law and Living After Midnight, all that sort of thing. So I think a lot of people came to see us in America around 1984, Power and the Glory days. And actually a lot of people haven't seen us since then, since the Crusader tour. So I think touring with Priest really put us back in front of a lot of new fans and a lot of our old fans that perhaps didn't realize we were still together, So I think it just made people aware and obviously put our music back in the frame, really.
Right. What are some of your favorite things about touring North America?
Well, the audiences are great. And, it's such a diverse place. One side of the country, New York, is totally different than the other side, California. So we just find it interesting touring America. Because pretty much when you tour England, everything's the same in the UK. You get pretty used to it. So America is always somewhere, there's always somewhere to go in America on a day off that we haven't seen before. So we like touring America, and the audiences are nuts. So they just love to rock and roll. So it's great, America, for touring. It is true what they say. It is the land of rock and roll. Yeah.
Right. And in mentioning, I know you mentioned some of the stuff that you guys had done in North America prior to that tour that you guys did with headlining with Fozzy and support. But one of the cool things is I got a chance to see you guys on that Monsters of Rock tour, or a cruise rather, in 2019. And you guys put on a hell of a couple sets. What was that experience like playing in that cruise? And being that it was more 80s hard rock type bands, American bands, and would you do something like that again?
Well, it's always good because we're just that we don't have the big the big MTV following that a lot of those bands had. millions of albums sold and, on MTV 80,000 times a week. So we're just going there basically on our music and people, knowing that we're a great live band. So it was good fun, actually. I think we probably influenced most of the bands on that boat. But yeah, it was good. I like it. There isn't really a new wave of British heavy metal tour. Cruise, is there, I suppose?
No.
The 70,000 tons of metal is a bit more sort of gothy, proggy touring. So, I don't know. Maybe we should do one. Call it the Saxon Longboat.
Right.
But,
there you go.
Yeah, that would be good. But we like it. We like it. It's a thing is, as soon as it leaves the dock, it's party time. That's really, that's really and a lot of people, like to chill out and drink and have fun and party all night. And I suppose, rock music is what, what they had in their youth. So, people like to see it all again.
Right. And I do have to say, having caught both the sets you guys did, it just seemed like everybody wanted to catch you guys. Because again, like you said, the influence. And then I think just the fact that, you guys, maybe there were a lot of people there that hadn't seen you guys before.
Yeah, it's always good. It's always good to play things that you don't normally play in front of a new audience. We'd have guys coming up and saying, the guy and his wife would come up and say, "God, we never seen you guys before. Incredible. I'm a big fan as of day one today." So it's always good, to do that. And the thing is with the cruises, you get to do a lot of meet and greets and, different things and, sort of seminars and things. So it's quite good. It is quite good. And it is, it's quite relaxing because you've got your own sort of cabin with a balcony, so you can chill out if you want to. Or you can go and party on the decks, if you want to do that as well.
Right. Now, you have a new album coming out February 4th, Carpe Diem. And again, you guys are working with Andy Sneap. Again, there's a Priest connection because he's produced some Priest records and is the touring guitarist. But how instrumental has he been in helping, that reintroduction of the band out to audiences outside of Europe?
Well, we've been working with Andy quite a long time, actually. I think the Sacrifice album, which is maybe 7-8 years ago. So we've been working with him a long time now. So I think he did the last Priest album, didn't he? Firepower.
Right.
And then obviously he's their guitarist now. Well, he wasn't for a while, and now he is again. But he lives quite close to me. I talk to Andy all the time. So we do projects together all the time, so we're quite big mates. But yeah, Andy makes Saxon sound like Saxon. I know that sounds probably quite daft thing to say, but it's true. He knows what I want the band to sound like, basically. So he goes and does that, and we record things together. On this album, we didn't do everything with Andy. We did some things at my studio, and that's why it's sort of co-produced. But we can trust Andy to take control of the album and do a great job. But it's a great thing having a good team. And Andy's obviously on the Saxon team, and is on other bands' teams as well. He works with the Man of Math. All sorts of different styles of music. But actually, he is a bit of an 80s child, Andy. So he just loves the 80s music.
How did you guys originally get introduced to Andy? I know, like you said, you guys go back to at least 2013 for the Sacrifice.
Yeah, he walked into our dressing room. We knew him from way before that. He used to be in a band called Sabat.
Right.
When he was 17. So we did meet him because they supported us on a big tour we did. I think it was back in 1990. Yeah, and he was only a young zip, and he came in the dressing room around 2008, 2009. Said, "Oh, I'm producing albums, and I'd like to work with you." So we were like, yeah, we didn't know. We thought you were the guitarist with Sabat. I was like, no, I've moved on from there. So that's really how we met him. But we didn't know him from before. So we do have some tales we can tell about his early years.
You know, you released the video for Carpe Diem back in November, and then just a few days ago, you put out the new one for Remember the Fallen. No doubt those are going to be in the set, but how difficult has it become for you guys to start making room for new stuff off new records when you have such a huge back catalog and fan favorites?
Well, it's all down to, you know, if it's going to be the Carpe Diem Seize the Day World Tour, then we'll try and do like 7, 8 maybe new songs on the show. Mm-hmm. I think it's only fair to, you know, if people are coming to see the album live, then we'll just, you know, play as many songs as possible. I think that's pretty cool to do, really. It's what touring's all about, you know, promoting the new album. And, yeah, but we generally choose old tracks on the popularity of audiences. You know, most audiences have their favorites from the old days. So we'll have like a magazine of bullets that are loaded with the old songs, you know, so we can fire them off when we need to.
Right.
But as far as new songs, a lot of it's down to rehearsing. When we're rehearsing for the tour, we'll try the new songs, and if they sound great live, then them's the songs we usually do. You know, we don't tend to do songs that take a lot of working out to play live, if you know what I mean.
Right.
We like to keep it nice and raw, you know, for live.
You know, you mentioned Andy making Saxon sound like Saxon. I mean, you guys don't drift too far away from the formula, kind of like, you know, a Motorhead or a Priest or Maiden or even AC/DC. You know, would you agree then that that's the case with the new record? If you like the old stuff, you'll love the new stuff.
I think the new record is pretty much in the same spirit as the 80s. I think COVID probably did that to us because there's an urgency about the album, and it's quite a positive vibe on the album, you know, which we created. Because what I did is that instead of writing songs with like, you know, starting from vocal ideas and verse melodies and choruses, I wanted to start this album with guitar riffs. So basically, I asked everybody to send me guitar riffs, and the guitar riffs that really excited me and turned me on, those were the songs that we continued to write, and those are the songs that I wrote melodies and lyrics for. So it was a little bit different, this album, and I think it harked back to the 80s a little bit in that songwriting style, you know, particularly Remember the Fallen.
Right.
Remember the Fallen could have been on Denim and Leather, no doubt about it.
What portion of the material existed prior to the pandemic, and was the pandemic helpful in getting the right songs together for this particular record?
Well, most of the songs were written, most of the music was written in a very loose form. It wasn't really arranged as much as we did it, but we were able to rehearse most of the tracks, before we actually recorded it. And I think we did the drums and bass first, and that was done in sort of February 2020. And we did the guitars in maybe April, June of 2020. And ever since then, I've been sort of, you know, doing the arrangements and doing vocals and writing lyrics. So I had a lot more time to do my bit, actually. I mean, the guys came to my studio and did some guitar solos and things. So generally, we've just been putting it together, but we have recorded, I've recorded 2 albums in that period as well. So I've been quite busy, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say that because over the course of the past few years, I mean, you did release the solo records, School of Hard Knocks, and then Saxon also did Inspirations. You know, it seems like you've been kept relatively busy on the musical front. I did it.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I did an album with my son as well, you know, Heavy Water. Right. So, you know, so, yeah. And, I mean, I've been really busy, and still am busy, actually. You know, we've just finished the Inspirations 2, you know, the second cover album. So, you know, so yeah, we are working all the time. And I think keeping the band busy and working and relevant and, you know, keeping the glass half full, not half empty, I think that's to be more positive as the way forward, definitely.
Sure. Have you taken up any new hobbies or anything during this pandemic and stuff? What have you done? Like,
well, I mean, I have hobbies and things. I mean, I do, you know, I do some modeling sometimes. You know, making things. You know, not like not fashion modeling.
Right.
But yeah, you know, I do modeling things. You know, like fighter planes and Spitfires and things, cool. and model railway stuff. But I don't have a lot of time for it. And you know, I'm a bit of a motorcyclist as well, so I tend to do some of that. Between working with the band, doing that, and exercising, you know, I'm pretty full on every day, really.
Right.
You know, and doing interviews, you know.
Sure. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple things, and then I'll let you go. But one of the things that I wanted to ask you about was the Destiny record, which was somewhat polarizing record in North America, at least. What's your thoughts on that? And would you have changed anything about it? I mean, you did receive some video airplay for the cover of Ride Like the Wind on MTV in North America.
Yeah, we got worldwide coverage on Ride Like the Wind, especially on radio. I don't think people knew it was us, but yeah, I mean, that was the best track on the album, which sums up the album, really.
Would you take that?
You know, the cover song's the best song on the album. Right. I mean, me and Paul Quinn took that song. I mean, I do love the original because it reminds me of motorcycling. I don't know if Christopher Cross reminded him of riding a horse, but for me, you know, we transpose it into a biker song, you know, so that's what our thoughts were behind it. And it is a fantastic version, actually.
Right. I
mean, even Christopher Cross likes it. So
that's cool.
You know, well, yeah, he must have made tons of money off it because we didn't get the publishing, did we? But yeah, I mean, I think with that album, I think to be truthful, to be totally honest, I just think the band at that time were in a bad place. The chemistry of the band wasn't great. There's really no great guitar riffs on that album, and you know, I think the songwriting, I think the songs are great. To tell you the truth, of one album we'd like to re-record, it would be Destiny, because there's no, for me, there's no fire in the album. There's no urgency. You know, I just think the band were, you know, going through the last stages of you know, either stopping or getting rid of some people and carrying on, really. Right. I just think that it's a bit of a low ebb. Well, you know, our manager died, you know, the record company weren't really brilliant, and it was just a bad time for the band, really. You know, and I know a lot of bands don't tell you the truth, but truthfully, I just think the whole thing was a bit of a weird time for the band.
Right.
And in retrospect, we probably shouldn't have done it and gone straight on to Solid Ball of Rock.
Right. What do you think is...
Which was a great album, actually.
Yeah. What's a Saxon record that you feel is really underrated, and why?
There aren't many that are underrated. I really like Metalhead. I think Metalhead was our sort of first darker album that we made. It's got all the black notes in it, as they say. So yeah, I think, you know, if there was an album that, you know, bands, that some of the newer bands, like, you know, when I say newer bands like Metallica and say some of the sort of more, you know, more sort of, not really death metal, but more hardcore, I think that is the album that we did, you know, that was very influenced from Pantera and Metallica, I think, Metalhead. Although it's very melodic, the guitar riffs, some of them are very, very dark, you know. And we loved making it because it was a new era, you know, a new area for us, you know. And we made a lot of new fans off that album in Europe, definitely. But in America, I don't think many people know it, to tell you the truth.
Right. No, yeah, I think that you're pretty much spot on there. Hey, just real quick on that particular record, did you feel comfortable in that area as far as doing something that was a little darker?
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah, I mean, you know, it was a great experience, and we learned a lot from it. That experience of doing that, you know. So we were able to go backwards and forwards in and out of that after we'd done that, because you know, I mean, obviously Doug Scarrett was just sort of joined the band the album before that, so his songwriting, you know, influenced that album. So it was a great thing, you know. We found out where we could go with the new members, you know.
Right. Yeah. Just one more thing, and then I'll cut you loose, and then hopefully we see you in North America here, probably down the road. It seems like this pandemic thing just keeps derailing things for everybody.
Terrible.
Yeah.
You know, hopefully our fans there will just, you know, try and get through it and keep us in their minds, and you know.
Right.
And that would be great. It's a good, yeah.
Well, here's the last question. It's a heavy duty one for you there, Biff. Is retirement even in your vocabulary? And if it is, what would you even do with yourself? I mean, it sounds like you're into bikes, so you'd be biking and doing some modeling, but is retirement in the picture?
No, retirement's not really entered into it at all, really. I haven't, that word, I don't really relate to it much, because, you know, if I retired, I'd be doing something with music. So no, I don't think guys like me retire. Yeah, I mean, you get bands that retire,
right?
Then, like, you know, 6 months later, the singer brings out a solo album.
Right.
He's not really retiring, is he? You know what I mean? So, you know, I mean, retiring a band and retiring yourself is a different. I suppose it's totally different, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hey, thank you for your time, and we'll get this online and get you guys a link. And like I said, look forward to seeing you and SAXON in North America somewhere down the road, hopefully this year even.
Yeah, that would be great. We're looking forward to it. It's the one thing we're looking forward to is live work, definitely.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, thank you very much. Take care, huh?
Yeah, no problem. See you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.